One last thing we talked about is you got some beef with me. You want to talk to me about some shit?
And then
let's
I'm
do
here
this.
for the drama.
Welcome everybody to the next installment of the Asian Not Asian podcast. The podcast with all your favorite Asian friends. Mm-hmm. One of them being Jenny Arimoto.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
I got demoted
crossed.
to Asian friend.
I
used to be
favorite.
yeah, well, I was
Favorite
like,
Asian friends.
I feel like I'm being demoted to other.
Why?
Because it's usually us two and our Asian friend.
Oh.
But you're like one of our Asian friends.
Well, I'm also one of the Asian friends.
That's true. We're all friends.
Yeah, we are. I think of it as like all of your favorite Asian friends is our guests, but also us, and it's kind of like Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. Everybody's in the neighborhood.
That's true. Yeah, yeah.
And this neighborhood
we should make everyone wear cardigans in here.
I'm way ahead of you, baby.
Yeah. You like take off your coat. You have like 4 cardigans on already.
I'm so hot right now.
Your core is overheated.
Can I tell you, sometimes people will come to see me at a show, and this has happened to me a while because of how I dress, but people will always like, sometimes people will be like, oh, I wanted to dress like you in order to hang out because I thought it'd be fun, and people's interpretation, which is not wrong, is hella layers, so many layers.
But you are always layering.
First of all, okay, we can get into it, but I always think a man should be separated from the world by as many layers of clothing as possible. Okay, and so one time I did a show. And this dude came out and it was so awesome. And he had on, I thought he came from like an interview.
Yeah.
I was like, "Are you interviewing?"
Like a full suit.
He had a suit and tie and a thing on. Or he came from 1968 Mad Men world. And he was like, "I'm dressed like you." And I was like, "Oh my God!" We like hugged. Cute. And there was so much static electricity because of all the layers. But we're all part of the same neighborhood. And you're listening to the Asian Not Asian podcast. I'm Mike Nguyen.
I'm Jenny Arimoto.
We're both some of your favorite Asian friends. Some quick announcements before we jump into it. The next Hack City is June 14th. That's a Friday. It's always the second Friday of every month. June 14th, it's at Union Hall in Brooklyn. This June 14th is Flag Day.
Okay.
Did you guys celebrate that?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Do you only celebrate the American flag? Is it all flags?
It's not all flags.
Okay. Okay. All flags matter. I don't know.
The concept of flags in general.
Yeah. Wait. Oh,
the representation of flags.
So it's a day where you celebrate the American flag.
Yeah. You learn about it, and then you probably put. I mean, I'm kind of remembering this from like Texas, which 1980s Texas.
Yeah.
Where we were very into flags, and it was like, put your flag in. Like everybody gets a flag.
I really don't think we celebrated
make flags, and you learn about the flag.
Okay. Wow.
And you learn how to fold the flag. I remember that was the biggest.
You learned to fold the flag?
Like in theory. I mean, like a kid doesn't know how to fold the flag.
I've never even. That wasn't even a subject that was broached. I didn't even know that could be a subject taught till right now.
You understand that there's a right way to fold the flag?
No. The military way where it becomes a triangle?
It becomes a triangle. That's the only way to fold the flag. I'm serious. I swear to God.
Now, I've been folding my flags all different and wrong.
You're not folding it in the triangle?
I guess I'm not doing it the official way.
Everybody
I was just doing it in a random
spot
way.
check. Everybody pull your flags out right now. Wait, you don't have your flag on you at all times?
Oh, God.
There's all these rules about the flag. So, for example, the flag always has to be, the American flag always has to be on top of all the other flags. If you do multiple flags in a pole, it has to be on the top flag, except for if you're running, there's a burial, that you can run a cross or a religious flag above that one. Oh, that's the only time.
What the hell?
Another one is if there's a bunch of flags and they're on different poles, the American flag always has to be higher or has to be on the place of honor, which is on the right side. All flags have to be on the left of the American flag. Yeah.
Okay.
So you check it out. I know my flags, baby.
This is wild. You
flag,
just threw down flag knowledge like crazy.
I just threw down flag
I didn't
knowledge.
know the right thing. Why is the right most? You know what I mean? There's all these rules.
I don't know why the right hand side is the most honorable side, but it is. I know that you're supposed to do it. Nobody follows these rules.
Of course not, because I've never once thought about it, heard about it. I've truly never have had this conversation.
Well, that's why we need to have Flag Day,
and that's why this podcast exists. It's to educate our listeners.
It's deep down. This is a deep state podcast where we're indoctrinating everybody about the flag, American flag. Speaking of indoctrination, if you want to support this podcast, go to patreon.com/Asian Not Asian Pod. It's the best way to support the podcast. We love getting supporters, and we give you a shout out if you contribute to the podcast. We didn't get one this last go around, so hopefully we'll get some more. But again, that's patreon.com/Asian Not Asian Pod. You can contribute as little as $2. But hopefully more, because we're worth it, you know. Let's just you want to just get up in this.
You what?
Sorry, you want to get into this?
Yeah,
episode?
Absolutely. Was that English?
Sorry,
that's crazy. I really left my body for a second.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay.
I'm just chugging coffee. What? We're kind of dressed.
We're dressed kind of similar.
I just noticed. Wait, wow.
Okay.
We're both kind of in our sweater polos.
I have. This is gonna make me sound so old, but I was like, I want to dress down, so I'm gonna wear. I don't want to wear a tie all the time, so I'm gonna wear this polo. This is a long sleeve polo.
This is. Oh wow.
That is.
We
also
are
like
really
yours.
matching. Yeah, we are really matching. This is me looking like preppy.
Yeah, you're kind of preppy.
Yeah, this is my preppy look.
Where is this from?
This is from Uniqlo, but it's the Uniqlo U.
What
Do you know they have like different like sub brands, and then they have one that's like this is a men's polo.
Oh, okay.
But they do like more like.
I feel this.
Yeah,
this is nice.
I bought this like 4 years ago.
Ooh, is this loop? Is this loop wheeled?
That I don't know what you just said.
Okay.
Loop wheeled.
Loop wheeled is like a. Anyways. Okay.
Okay. So. Well, you look great, Mike. But you always look great.
Yeah,
I never say it anymore because you just look good all the time.
Aww. That's so nice.
It's true though. You dress up so much.
Yeah. You know what it is? It just makes me feel better.
I love that.
It just makes me feel better to like put on, like to look fly all the time. And I hate it when sometimes people catch me not dressed up.
Yeah, because you're like, don't look at me right now.
Yeah, I'm just like,
it's usually not like.
I just know I'm gonna like one day I'm gonna walk out to like move my car and I'm wearing my like whatever and like, oh no, it's Keanu Reeves. Ah.
Yeah. And then he's gonna tweet about it.
He's like, oh, I thought you would look cooler.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I don't. Anyways, you know who always looks great too is our guest. Who's a comedian, just like a general amazing artist. He's a photographer. He took a picture of me the very first second we met just now. He took a picture of me, and it's a good thing I was dressed up.
I know. Good thing you were ready.
I was ready.
Well, maybe that's why you dressed up today.
That's true.
You knew some awesome photos are going to be taken.
He's a comedian. He's East New Yorker, proud East New Yorker. Help me welcome onto the show, Gastor Almonte.
Hey, excited to be here. I got to tell you, I really want to just talk about flags now.
Do you?
I know. I saw you reacting so intensely.
Do you know about these rules about the flag?
Who knows these?
No one knows those. But like, there's so many like right off the bat. How do you know what's right of the flag if the wind is blowing?
Ooh.
And it depends on where you're standing.
Right. Yeah.
Like, okay, so it stands on the right. It depends on like the context of what it is. So for example, if you're doing a speech or something like that, and like people are looking at you, and you're like looking away, like there's a right-hand side of where you are and it needs to be on the right-hand side. So like how it's defined like that. Yeah.
Oh.
You know, and then you ever notice that sometimes like, okay, you look at a New York City bus, like the bus, there's a flag on the back of it and sometimes it's reversed. It looks like it's backwards.
Yeah.
The reason why is because it's supposed to look like, you know, when you have a flag and it's streaming and like let's say you're like on a horse and you're like have the flag on a pole and it's streaming, like, you know, it's behind you.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're going forward and you look from the left hand side, looks the normal way. But if you stand on the other side of that person who's streaming the flag, it's reversed. So it's supposed to look like the flag is in the air flying.
That's fire.
That's why if it's on your right hand shoulder, it's reversed. And if it's on your left shoulder, it's the normal way. Yeah.
Why?
That's incredible.
Did you learn this all on Flag Day?
No, I learned that one because I was wondering why, and it was part of my Navy SEAL research when I wanted to be Navy SEAL, and I was like, why do Navy SEALs have the flag reversed? Anyways, that's one.
Yeah, because like I've heard a lot of criticism of the like education system in Texas, and like, I'm like I gotta take it back. Like, you know, they might not be studying the right things, but they're studying thoroughly, whatever it is.
Yeah, they're studying something.
Yeah, we don't learn history,
Yeah.
but we just learn about like how to treat a flag, never touch the ground, that kind of thing.
Rock on.
Yeah.
Can you celebrate other American adjacent flags, like Puerto Rico, the state flags, borough flags. We have a Brooklyn flag.
All those flags, if you have them, they need to be beneath the national flag has to be beneath it. So like, on a pole, there's like the American flag first, and there's probably order, like it's like then there's the state, and then there's like the country, or, the region. It goes below. There's like an order for how everything has to go.
That's fire.
I'm
Isn't
gonna
that
say
crazy?
I've never bought one flag in my life.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I bought a Dominican flag, but that's just because I have to.
Do you know about I know that the Dominican flag, the traditional way is to have it on the hood of your car, right? Stretched
Amen.
over,
Amen.
right? Or like 5 of them streaming behind you.
You can also make clothing out of it.
Yes.
That's Flag Day for the
That's the Dominican flag.
When
That's
they're
Dominican
learning
flag
all
day.
that, they're that like it must always be on the hood
It
of
must
your car.
always be a bikini top.
Yeah.
Okay. And if it's a bikini top, the right nipple is the nipple of honor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's great. Welcome to the show, dude.
Appreciate you, man. I'm excited to be here. It's dope. We're gonna have a good time.
You've been on the show before.
Yes,
and,
indeed.
I think last time, if people haven't listened to that episode. You, me, Fumi, we were talking about different games we played when we were growing up.
That sounded like the name of the game, by the way. Yumi Fumi.
Yumi Fumi.
Yeah.
I like
that sounds like the game. You told us about the game where you like are trying to throw rats up onto a roof or something.
Yeah, I missed that.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Recap the game for Jenny so she can catch up.
There was an abandoned building across the street from where I grew up at. So like as a game, like we would put living rats in like socks, like kind of twirl it so that they wouldn't get out. And you would like try to fling it through the windows.
What?
And then there would be, like crackheads doing business in there.
Yeah.
And like you would get extra points if like the crackheads would run from the rats.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
it's a good time,
That sounds so made up. That's so wild.
I think I did sound made up. It
Yeah,
sounds like something
it's like a joke on 30 Rock.
Nah,
Right.
I made consistent money doing that as a kid. It was great. I was really good. You get paid like the dudes would like pay us money to throw them, and I played like Little League baseball. I had a cannon.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's do this all day.
Oh my God.
I think I asked you this when you first told me this game. How did you catch the rats?
Yeah.
I thought rats are hard to catch.
They are. So like I didn't do that because admittedly I was scared of it, and that was part of like the thing. Because like just to be clear, like I look back on it fondly. Like as a kid, I was scared. to
Oh,
do
really?
this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Like like these are like the teenagers on the block saying you're gonna do this.
I see.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, and I'm scared of mice. I'm scared of rats.
Yeah.
So the only way to not have a rat or a mouse on you is to twirl it and
throw
chuck it.
Yeah.
So like they would have.
Oh,
them,
so they got them
they
already.
Would put them, they would put them in socks, and they would like, yo, you're gonna do this. They'd hand you the sock.
Oh, shit.
And like you've seen other people do it. Like if you don't start twirling, it's gonna come out.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, like you start twirling it, and then like you don't want to like drop it or let it go on someone. So that was like the goal.
Yeah,
like
no
this is
other
the
choice.
only place where like none of us that pay rent live there. So just chuck it up there, and you kind of get rid of a drug local problem. It was weirdly like a positive program, actually. We were solving a community issue.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that was like looking back on it, was a like weird game, and like they would tip us if we like got it like onto the third floor. I was like 6, 7 years old. Like we're not normally gonna make it, and like you'd see most of the time you miss. So like you just hit the wall. So you'd see like a sock hit the wall, drop, and then like a mouse scatter.
Oh shit!
It was crazy. So like it was a scary game, but like. Yeah, like you weirdly felt cool when you got it in, because like all these like teenagers would cheer, and then they would just hand you singles like, yo, you dope, like, and they would tip because they had like bets going on it. So yeah, good times.
It's
Wow.
like it feels like almost kind of like an East New York version of skee ball. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
there you go.
Yeah,
It's a bar game.
Okay,
you know?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You could probably turn it into like Dave and Buster's probably looking for new games.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Instead of skee ball.
Don't jack my joint. You know?
Oh, make it a VR game.
Ooh.
Where you're like in a VR set and you're like winding up and you throw a rat.
You're
If you wait too long, it like bites you.
It comes down and it's, your controller starts vibrating.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you could get a $4,000 Apple Vision.
Yeah, to throw
it's
rats.
like first game.
To play rat
East
throwing.
New York rat
Yeah.
throwing. That shit is, yeah. You know, now that same building, pickleball. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
Amen.
Yeah. And there's an Alamo Draft House in there.
There's an Equinox in that.
Yeah, there's an
thing.
Equinox, Alamo Draft House, pickleball.
Amen.
Yeah,
Amen.
I am so glad you're here. I legit wanted you on the show just because I kind of wanted a hug from you. Can I get a hug from you real quick?
Amen.
Like right now.
Right now? Like,
Yeah.
we got to take off our headphones.
Yeah, I'm going to
let's
take off
do
my
it.
headphones. I'm
Of
going to hug
course.
you. Hold
So
on.
I guess I'll just vamp
You can
during
come hug
it.
us if you want.
Well, then it's just dead
Oh, we gotta
air.
get in the
Okay,
camera,
so
get the shot. Oh.
they are getting the shot, They are hugging right now.
Oh,
It's
thank
very
you. Oh my
sweet.
God.
It was a
Brother.
little off camera, but it was very cute.
That was beautiful.
That was beautiful.
The reason why I wanted a hug is because I listened to you got a bunch of different projects, right? You know, of which one of them is We Hired a Sitter for This with
Yes,
Patrick Holbert.
Yes, indeed.
And like the show is kind of like about just being a dad and New York and creativity and that kind of thing. You also have another amazing podcast,
The War Report.
War Report, which is also great. And but with We Hired a Sitter for This, it's just like listening to the two of you. I was telling you this before we started. You got like a really cool like buddy cop energy to it. You know what I'm saying? Like Patrick is, I don't know how else to say this, white as hell. And he's the nicest dude. He's super nice. He's very funny.
Real talk, yeah.
You know, and he's got a young kid. I think his kid's like 4.
Yeah.
And how old are your kids now?
My daughter is 15. My son is 14.
Great.
Oh my gosh.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Right? And you've got this thing, you've always had this, and it's probably from having at age 7 throwing rats up onto a building. You have like like this kind of like, I've seen it all. You know, I've done a lot of things. I have a lot of sort of like hard-earned wisdom, you know? And so whenever I listen to it, there's this cool dynamic of like, I'm not necessarily saying you're teaching Patrick stuff.
Right.
But you're like, okay, maybe you try this. You know? You had this thing before, for example, like, and I started trying to do this. If you want to, you like pre-program gifts for your wife.
Yeah.
You know?
Amen.
Right? Like,
Amen. I'll explain it.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, like, I realized that, like, my wife is awesome and she deserves all the love that I can give her. But the way that we express love is differently. I'm really big on, like, big moments, big expressions. And then I'm good with like, yo, we did that once this year. Cool.
I see.
Whereas like she wants consistent like check-in love. And that's cool too, but that's not my specialty. And I struggled with that initially. So instead, at the beginning of the year, there's usually like a day or two where everyone feels more in love than another day. On the first day of the year that I feel that way, I go downstairs and I order all the gifts for the year to show up.
Oh, wow.
So like, you know, I do the Mother's Day gifts. I do like the flowers that like everything I'm supposed to order. I get those first. Then I go through the months that like no one thinks of. And I have like a bottle of wine scheduled to show up.
Wow.
So that, because realistically, A, I would have liked to have done it.
Right.
B, I don't want to forget a day. C, I would have spent the money anyway.
Right.
So now when I'm at my most thoughtful, let me take care of this today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But for her, she gets the feeling of like every 3 to 4 weeks, oh, he was thinking of me. And I was in January.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
But like she gets the feeling she deserves and wants.
That's very smart.
You know what I mean? And then it covers me when I do trash. Like if I have a thing where like I forgot something, I know that in a week or a week ago, she got flowers or a bottle of wine, and it buys you grace. And it reminds her of the general good that I am despite this current moment. I'm just playing to my strengths.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, like I ordered them all out. I got like little perfume bottles that pop in. The real thing, and I think I said this to Patrick, but like, you got to personalize some of them. So like once a year, I'll get like Broadway tickets for her and her homegirls to like a show she goes to.
Yeah.
The super move that I know, like real talk. I'm so proud of this. So me and my family's Dominican. Gabby's is my wife is Costa Rican, and there is a separate Dominican Mother's Day from the American one.
Okay.
So there is a separate Costa Rican one as well.
I see.
So on Costa Rican Mother's Day, I send her mom flowers.
Oh.
You You know?
That's like fucking 3D chess
Straight
right
up,
there.
yo.
I know.
You're like look behind you. You know,
You know what I mean?
you know, like
Dude,
Jesus.
it's crazy. So like the mom gets the thoughtful gift. The mom texts my
exactly.
wife. Now she knows, yo, I'm thinking of you like that. You know, it's next level. Only issue I had is like my father-in-law got tight. He was like, yo, my man, like I didn't do that. You know? So 2 years ago, he preemptively texted me, yo, are you getting my wife flowers? Get me flowers too. You know, so I had to send flowers on both of our behalves.
I thought maybe that he would get your wife flowers, and it's like it's on now.
Nah.
I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get everybody
everyone
flowers
buying
and your
flowers.
family flowers.
Yeah.
Everybody's getting flowers.
It becomes a full war.
It's just
Amen.
full on war.
Yeah.
I
You're
love
spending
it.
thousands of dollars in January. So this will come out after Mother's Day, but I almost slipped up and almost forgot about it.
Ooh.
Unfortunately,
It's so soon.
I know, it's very soon. What is your Mother's Day thing you're gonna do this year?
So this year I have to make up for a gift that I got last year that didn't make it. Unfortunately, I got her a citrus tree. Her brother bought a house in Florida.
Beautiful.
And he planted like a lemon tree. She's always wanted one. Hard to do in a New York apartment.
Yeah.
So I looked up a citrus tree that's like more prone to survive in a New York apartment. It was like a Filipino lemon type thing.
Okay.
Like a yuzu plant, do you remember?
I forget the name of
Okay.
it, but I was able to find it like that, and it made it like 8 months, but it didn't survive. So I want to get a new one of those for her, essentially.
Oh,
Know what I mean?
nice.
Yeah.
And it grows in like indoors.
It, like exactly, and that's the whole idea, supposedly. Although we failed with the first one, you know.
Right.
But that's the idea, that it's like one of the few citrus trees that has shown that it can thrive indoors.
Okay.
So give it another shot. You know, what I mean, it's like open mic jokes. They don't all make it. You know, we got 200 plants. You know, so some of them ain't gonna cut it. You know, but I want her to have that. And like she keeps getting pictures from her kid brother. So I want to make sure she has her own thing to kind of flex.
Yeah. You should get your wife's brother's wife some flowers or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Just be like, don't mess with my family. Stop doing that.
You hurting me, B.
Yeah. I know where you live.
And I got to take the kids shopping too. That's the other thing that's like becoming more and more fun. That like, they're having real taste and their own relationship with their mom.
Right. So they're thinking
like,
about it. What am I going to get?
Yeah. Okay. Because like even my son, like he has like this like a tradition of making her a comic book every year.
That's really
cute.
sweet.
Yeah, like he makes her a full storyline of like mom saving the day.
That's so nice.
really
so
dope.
cute.
Yeah, so he was hitting me up. He's like, I need art supplies to make the comic book.
Yeah.
Because he was like, I had a few years there where I kind of mailed it in. I just did it in pencil. He's like, I got to up the game. So I was like, no doubt, I got you.
Yeah, you're like, the publishers are expecting more this round.
It's history.
Sales are dwindling.
Sales have dropped.
That reminds me of like this is I once I was like, I didn't have any money, and so I was like, I want to make my mom something nice for Mother's Day, and so I made like a macaroni art.
Okay.
Right. I did a macaroni art and stuff like that, and I signed it Mike, and the whole trick of it. I was 25.
Oh my God.
I literally had no. I
literally was going to make that joke. I didn't, but I can't believe it's just reality.
She would put it up and she brought it to work, and she'd be like, "Oh my God, that's so cute. How old are you?" And it says there, it's like Mike, age 25, and then we get really quiet. They'd be like, "Okay."
I love that.
Yeah,
That's
but I literally had no money. I was like, I was like working some dumb job somewhere, and I had no cash, and I was like, I can afford macaroni.
Yeah.
And she liked it, and now that I got a kid, I feel like, if there's something really cool about like getting something like that. So it's like, they really tried.
Yeah.
And like, who cares if it's like not, I don't know, whatever. Like it's gonna look good, and it's you care about it. You're gonna look at it because they thought about you, and that's all that matters.
Amen.
I wanted to have you on, and I wanted to, I guess, make the announcement. Everybody, Gina and I are having another child.
Woo!
Whoa! Yeah.
Yes, indeed. My man.
Oh my
2 for
God.
2, baby.
2 for 2.
My man.
We are 2 for 2 when it comes to IVF. So like, it's a long story. You and I will sit down and we'll have
I
a
would
long
love to
thing
hear
about
about
it.
it.
But we're having a girl. We're having a girl.
Yeah.
And it due in like mid-August.
Leo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it a Leo?
Leo?
Yeah. It's like right on the edge, right?
Yeah,
'Cause when
Leo
is-
Virgo cusp.
When is the Virgo?
I don't know, somewhere around the 20th, probably
Yeah.
20 something. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, yeah.
So it could be.
It could be either
We're in a
one, but I
dangerous
think
zone.
we're in a gray area here.
Are
Yeah.
you rooting for one?
No, I'm not rooting for one. What you mean, like
Like what, a
Libra?
sign?
Sign?
Yeah.
No.
Well, you're a Virgo.
I am a Virgo.
Okay.
So do you want someone who's kind of like leaning towards you, or do you want someone leaning towards me?
Well, hold on here. Is it supposed to be? You're the expert here. So, are two Virgos like? Are you supposed to have two? Or is it going to be like fire and it's
no,
gonna burn
no.
itself out or something?
Especially Earth signs, they get along. Like they're so chill. You guys are really practical and like chill. I feel like low drama.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do want
Like my dad and my brother are both Earth signs, and as my brother gets older, he is like so much like my dad.
That's awesome.
And they always got along, but there's really similar personalities, like very practical, very like, just like, no fighting, no mess, no stress.
mess.
They're just like, whatever.
Yeah.
They just don't want to fight.
Yeah.
But then they just want to like live comfortably and like just like have a good life.
Let me just do my taxes.
yeah,
And go home, dude.
and just like
I gotta
chill
do
on
my
the
taxes
couch and
chill,
like
bro.
and do whatever you want to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the vibe.
I guess I do want that.
And you deserve that.
Yeah.
I do. And we're pretty excited. I think it's like starting to really dawn on me. Last night, actually. Literally
Is
last
when the
night.
dawn happened,
And then when
yeah.
it happened. And I had a dream that we went in for an ultrasound and the doctor was like, "Oh, we made a mistake. You're actually having twins." And I was simultaneously scared, but also like, awesome.
Yeah.
I think there's something wrong with me because I'm like, I don't know how to describe it. My wife is, she's anxious about it, obviously, right?
Of course.
She's like, "Oh my God, how are we going to have the time? We don't have time now." And my whole view of it is, I think I've always wanted, like, I come from a big family, my extended family, we're Vietnamese. We just, like a lot of people, all crammed together. And I always thought of it as, the house is already on fire. Let's just light another fire. Like we're already,
Add
it's
gasoline.
already,
Yeah.
And I'm just excited about it. I can't even imagine it, especially because it's a girl
I know,
and I
it's
always
different.
wanted a girl.
Yeah.
I mean, I love my son, don't get me wrong, but like, so it's like, it's a whole other aspect that I've never thought of. And, I'm almost sort of thinking like, I'm, having one kid, that's easy mode,
Yeah.
let's, I think having two isn't twice as hard. It's like more than twice as hard. So I don't know. Even though all those things sound daunting, I'm like very, I don't know. I think I just can't wait.
Well,
It's
you
gonna
have
be
an
great.
expert in the house.
That's why you're here, dude. That's why I needed the hug.
Okay.
You know?
Well, I one thing I can't tell you to take it back at this point. So, even if like my advice was like, "No, this is terrible."
Yeah,
Nah, man, that's awesome, man.
Thank you so
Sincerely.
much. Yeah.
Yeah, I genuinely I enjoy being married. I enjoy being an artist. I enjoy stand up. But I being a parent is the thing that brings me the most joy.
Yeah.
Like I have really beautiful relationships with both of my kids, seeing them develop into completely different people that you played a role in, but also a part of it is just the magic of seeing just them become
them doing their own thing.
Right.
It's so like trippy. There's a lot of beauty in it whenever they have moments of self-discovery, success. There's a lot of beauty in retrospect, seeing what your parents went through. I didn't realize was going to be a part of it. Like every time that like I'm stumped as a parent, I realize that like, yo, my parents didn't know what to do here either.
Yeah.
And like, A, as a kid, I assumed they did.
Right.
B,
Yes,
like they dealt with it somehow.
Yeah, they just deal with it.
So
And
like
they didn't have the internet and all that other shit.
I know.
You know what I'm
Bro,
saying? Where you
it
can,
was
like,
just them.
look it up. Yeah.
Yeah. And even like fathers, like we're just now talking. Like my dad didn't talk about parenting with another dad.
Yeah.
Ever. Like that's wild, So like there's so much about it that like I have a strong level of empathy for them.
Yep.
But yeah, like just seeing like these two people fully develop in front of you and like you're a part of that, like yo, like you're my gene pool, you know, and like you're becoming your own beautiful person. It's wild to watch.
That's crazy. Yeah, the thing I don't want to say it's a concern because to what you said, there's something about the two of them, like they're going to be their own people and they're going to have their own sort of dynamic. But I love my family. I want us to be close. I'm pretty close with my sisters. Our families are pretty close, and I want to keep that going. And I've seen some siblings, some of my friends, they're not close to their siblings, and like I understand, people are people. Sometimes you grow apart, or sometimes it's just not going to work. But I do want them to get along. And I know we got a little time because when they're first born, when she's first born, she's just kind of like a lump. But I don't know if you had things, to just encourage them, having like a good rapport. I know they're going to get in fights. I know there's going to be a whole thing. I'm pretty sure my son's going to be extremely jealous because he's so attached to his mom right now.
Yeah.
Which is totally fair. But like, I don't know if you have any kind of guardrails where it's like, okay, as long as these things are being met, you're setting them up to be, close.
Yeah, there's a few things. I have siblings, but I grew up as an only child. My siblings are 16 and 17 years younger than me.
Oh, wow.
So like I have siblings, but like I really didn't grow up with them.
Right,
like I'm a third parent.
Yeah, you're like a third parent.
You know what I mean? Whereas my wife Gabby was the oldest of 5, and they're all within like 7 years of each other. So like we talked a lot about that dynamic. Okay. My best friend is her younger brother. So like I saw a lot of it too, and like I saw the aspects of it that I liked and that I didn't like, and vice versa. There was parts of like what I had that they were like, I wish I had that. So we've tried our best to combine that. One of the things that I think has helped a lot is we kind of allow for them to request their alone time. So like when you want to play together, when you both want to play together, but if one of you says I need space, respect it.
Hair thinning is complicated. The problem is, it's actually much bigger than your hair alone. Like your skin, hair is a reflection of your health, and internal factors can impact the way your hair looks, feels, and grows. Nutrafol's whole-body approach multi-targets underlying root causes like stress, hormone fluctuations, and nutrient gaps for visibly thicker, stronger hair. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement, with over 1 million people seeing thicker, stronger, faster-growing hair with less shedding. Thinning hair is different for men and women, so a one-size-fits-all approach to hair growth just doesn't cut it. Nutrafol has multiple formulas that are tailored to give your hair what it needs to grow based on your biology, life stage, and lifestyle factors. Physician-formulated with drug-free ingredients, Nutrafol supports healthy hair growth from within by targeting key root causes of thinning: stress, hormones, environment, nutrition, lifestyle, and metabolism through whole body health. Take their hair wellness quiz at Nutrafol.com for a personalized hair health plan based on your specific root causes. With Nutrafol, building a hair growth routine is simple. Purchase online, no prescription or doctor's visits required. Free shipping and automated deliveries ensure you'll never miss a day. See results in 3 to 6 months. Take the first step to visibly thicker, healthier hair. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter promo code ASIAN. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and stylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code ASIAN. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code ASIAN. Hello, Asian Not Asian listeners. Maybe you can relate being in the Asian American community and not being able to properly speak your native language, sometimes at all. It's especially challenging because it prevents us from being able to have proper conversations with people we love, like our grandmas. What if I were to tell you McDonald's wants to help you with that? To celebrate the new Grandma McFlurry, McDonald's launched SweetConnections.ai, where you can record a video message for Grandma and have it translated into her native language using AI. You can choose from different languages like Mandarin, Korean, Hindi, and Tagalog. We love grandmas here at Asian Not Asian, so send your grandma a message at SweetConnections.ai, then come to McDonald's to treat yourself to the Grandma McFlurry today. Available for a limited time. At participating McDonald's, select languages available.
And then anytime there's a disagreement, I give them the opportunity to solve it first. So like if they're fighting, I come over and I say, before I solve it, do you want to solve it?
Oh, shit.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And I give them a chance. And if they come up with a solution, I respect it. So like it gives them a chance to kind of talk through emotions. They develop that. They respect each other. And they know that I'm going to do something that I think is fair, but might not be what you want.
Right.
So do you want dad or mom to give you the solution, or do you two want to come up with something now?
Yeah.
And like I think it encourages a certain level of bonding. You know what I mean? I respect when they have secrets that are just theirs. I think like I remember seeing that. They're like, yo, like there's a certain kind of like bond that they have to form, because while I'm there for them, they're gonna be there for each other longer.
Yeah.
You know, so I want them to know
they
that
need
like
to have that lore. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Real talk. So I'm like, yo, like if something goes down and like you sincerely think you did the right thing, you don't need to tell me about it. That's you too. I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? So I already know. Like I asked them like, hey, do you have a secret that like only your sister knows and I don't know? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, and I'm gonna tell you now, I'll never ask you that. Like I'll never ask you what it is. As long as you guys know you did the right thing, I'm peace with that. And I try to just in general be an example of good and do the same thing. So like I go to my family functions when I can. We go to her family functions and they see the value in it. You know what I mean? They never miss any of the siblings' birthdays. We bring over fam for those reasons so that they see like, yo, if it matters to me, I'm not BSing you when I'm telling you, yo, you should do it too.
Right.
Yeah, you're modeling the behavior you want to instill or whatever. I like that too, that you say, they get to try to handle it first. I think overall, like, I've seen in some parenting things that's like trying to give your kid agency, like give them the opportunity to like, I don't know, make a mistake or to try to solve it themselves. Even at my son's age, like he has a quote unquote soccer class. And he has a soccer class.
Cute.
It's very cute.
Okay.
But
I don't know if it's full soccer.
It's something.
It's not even a ball in the ball.
Yeah.
It's just kicking.
I know.
So, I mean, I wish it was kicking. So, like, my main thing with the soccer was, like, I would be amazed if he stood in. So there's like a little, like, they have these little hoops that you're supposed to stand in, like, big enough for one kid to stand in. I was like, okay, if he will voluntarily stand inside of that, and they have a thing where it's like, put your foot on the ball. Just put your foot on top of the ball. He did that on day one, and I was like, done.
Yeah.
And that's good because he hasn't done anything new since. He's like not into kicking.
Yeah.
He always picks up the ball. He doesn't do it,
He's a goalie,
Well, that's what I think. It's funny. Right before we left today for soccer, my neighbor set up this tiny little basketball hoop, right, which was just so adorable. And my son is a picker-upper and like a thrower, crushing basketball.
Okay.
Only thing is he's only 2 feet tall. Yeah. He may only, by the time he's 18, be 3 feet tall. Yeah. So, he comes from very short stock. But but with soccer, as the weeks have gone on, it's a very long season. It's like 20 weeks long. And we're like 8 weeks in or something. And he's gotten less
Soccer
and less.
Season is already.
That's
so
what they call
funny
it.
To me.
They call it like, okay, the season's on. I'm like, season? What season? Is there a team? Do the kids even realize what's happening?
No,
they don't understand.
No idea what's going on.
And it's really funny. So like week one of the season, like there was like 20 kids. There was like a lot of kids, and they're all trying to do their thing. And as the weeks go on and on, there's less and less kids, but also it's like the kids who are showing up by halfway through, there's like now a small contingent of them just like digging up the garden that's nearby. There's another who's just crying. There's like 2 or 3 of them who've just disappeared. We don't know where they went. And my son is like, he kind of, I think, understands now, oh, this is like a thing. I don't want to do it. He'll do it for like a little bit. Yeah. He'll do it a few times and he's like, I don't want to do that. Yeah. And so I'm trying to like gauge whether or not, because on the one hand, the last thing I want is him to like dread going to something. Yeah. Right. Because like my parents made me do stuff. On the one hand, sometimes it was good, sometimes it wasn't bad. So I'm trying to find that line of like, he can decide, but also he has a expectation like you should try to do this. Yeah. I don't know if you have any, you ever think about that?
Yeah, I do. I tell them there's life things you have to do. Yeah. So like school is a non-negotiable. Yeah. You know what I mean? Whereas like the extracurriculars, I think you get to choose as long as you're doing one.
Yeah.
So I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
You're allowed to change them, but you need to be doing something. My daughter, I told her she needs to have 2 clubs while she's in school. Like one of them that like you enjoy fully for the mind, and one of them that feeds like your physical. Like you need to move.
Yeah.
And I'm transparent. I told her, like, being real, like if you were to ask me as an adult the things I do well, I think I'm happy with like my personal relationships. I'm happy with my professional life. I'm probably I'm unhappy with my health. So I'm trying to preemptively tell you, don't get into that. This is a box that you should check. So like I try to be cognizant of that. But I tell them, like, hey, it's something you should enjoy. So if this is something you don't like, you can skip that. It's peace, man. Nobody making you do this particular thing. Just find the thing you enjoy. With that said, there are moments where like I do think you kind of have to push through it. I speak with like my son a lot about like coding has been a thing. Where like he has like dreams of like making like video games, and he's trying to learn how to code. So he's taking like an hourly class every day.
That's dope.
And it's dope. So like he doesn't like talking to me face to face. He'll text me like a paragraph.
Yes. Yeah.
And he's like, yo, these are my thoughts right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like I'll wake up and like I'll get all these text messages of like what he's going through. So this week was I'm struggling doing coding because the day-to-day is boring.
Yeah.
I don't understand what I'm working towards.
Yeah.
And as a comic, my schedule's weird. So I didn't respond because it was 10 o'clock when I'm reading it. And I'm like, I'm responding in the morning. And he woke up for school while I was downstairs editing, read over his texts and texted me the response. And he was like, I thought about it. I need to set short-term goals.
Oh, wow.
Straight up. He was like, I need to figure out a way to think about what I'm doing big picture, because that's the goal, but I need to be happy along the way.
It's very mature.
Whoa,
Straight up.
Damn.
So he just thought it out. And like, I asked him, I was like, yo, how'd you get there? He was like, I sat down and I was like, what would Dad tell me? And like he just played out the convo. So like just in general, I just asked him a lot of questions whenever they have an issue. So he was like, I just kept asking myself questions. And I was like, that made sense. I need to figure out a way to keep being happy, because he was like, if this part is hard, I know that if I keep doing it, everyone else that says they want to do it but finds this hard is going to stop doing it before me.
Yeah.
So how do I keep doing it? I got to find little ways to stay happy along the way. So he's like, I'm gonna get like little easy things to code that when I learn to code that, I won.
Yeah.
Or he's like, I'll buy myself a comic book.
Right.
I was like, yeah, boom.
Wow.
Gastor, do you even parent?
Not at all.
You weren't even involved in that whole thing.
I just high five kids. Yo, crushed it, little man.
Like, good job. I was going to say the same thing.
Real talk, B. You know what I mean? I'm going to take credit for that
That
later,
was
though.
tight.
You know what I mean?
You're welcome, buddy. Now, don't bother Dad anymore.
I got jokes to write.
I got jokes to write.
Come on, B.
I'll be gone for 3 days. You recently took your kids, your family,
Yeah.
Dominican Republic.
Yeah, man, it was a blast. We got to go like see the motherland. You know what I mean?
Shit.
Amen. We went back home, baby. My kids, it was their first time there. Me and Gabby went there for a wedding a decade back, but even that, like, we stayed in a resort. So like, I hadn't seen like where my family was from in 26 years.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So like, it was like, we did the resort thing for a couple of days. My daughter, even though she's born here, is very LA. She wants tan.
Really?
Yeah. Like, she's like, I just want drinks with umbrellas and tans. So yeah, she was just on the beach for like 3 days. I was like, all right.
That's so funny.
But after that, like, we went to like Bonao, which is like, the small like little town in the middle of the country where my family like met. And like, I saw the elementary school my mom went to.
Oh, no shit.
Wow.
Yeah, like real like touchstone moments of like their family. I visited like an aunt that my dad's sister who like got super hyped and like found like pictures of my dad in 2nd grade.
Oh shit.
Like wildness. So like it was just cool to kind of see these things. My mom, there's like a family picture of them that we found, and like I got the whole backstory of that because like they had one picture of most of the family, only because like the photographer would go there like every like 3 years. So like they're all dressed up. My mom didn't even have shoes because like they couldn't afford it in like for the pic. So like she was telling me that like they cut her feet off on purpose.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like it's like a dope pic because like while we're there and hanging out and like I'm seeing like the beauty of the nature and the simplicity of the life, people that like grew up with my parents are still there. So like one of my dad's cousins come over and I talked with him for like 20 minutes. He's cracking jokes about my pops. Like, yeah, yo, he had a trash arm when we played baseball, you know what I mean? And like we going back and forth and like it hit me that like I made a couple of references and I realized that he vaguely understood what the internet was.
Oh, really?
I
Like
see.
kind of like, yeah, like I get it. And
I
like
heard
he
about
still doesn't full get clear. He's never seen a computer like in person.
Oh, shit.
Like that, like is that different his life?
Yeah, yeah.
And he lives a good life. Like
Right.
he's chilling.
Probably better than us.
Yeah,
we've
honestly.
seen
Real
too many
talk.
computers.
Yeah.
There's a computer right here.
Yo.
Yeah.
and that's kind of what was hitting me. I was like, yo, like one like butterfly effect decision,
Yes.
I could just be that. Because like my
Right.
parents met
I
there.
think about
Right.
that shit.
Yeah, like my parents met there. They decided to come here. Like
Yes.
that dude met his girl and decided to stay there.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they made a life.
Yeah.
His kids came over here.
Sure.
But like I was like, yo, like I could have just been
yeah.
on a farm in DR. You know what I mean?
Right.
And as he's like saying that, like my son, since he likes like science stuff, like they brought over the rooster guy. So like I'm watching my son hold roosters for the first time in his life. And his like mind is blown that like, yo, these are like the real animals in the book. And I'm like, yeah. And then like I'm literally discovering it like, yo, like we could have been like for
Yeah,
real
no, this
you know?
could have been you.
Yeah. It was trippy to kind of see the beauty and like the simplicity of that life, to really like get a gauge of the journey that like my family went on and
Yeah.
our parents in general. Like
totally.
like you're becoming a dad right now and you're gonna like think about like real hard things that you have to do in general as a parent. And they, on top of that, and this is almost universally true of people our age, our parents on top of that said, let's also leave and go to a country we don't speak the language.
For sure.
Like that's wild.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And they did it younger than us.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like 20,
With like less resources.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I have an immense amount of respect for my parents that like I had in general, but like this trip really illuminated for me. And then just seeing my kids kind of like connect with their land. Like it's funny you mentioned flags. My son bought a flag. Like, he bought a DR flag.
Hell
he was like, yo, I gotta get one, yo. Straight up. And he was like, I need one. And like he knows he knew he was Dominican, but like I'm very Americanized, admittedly. And my wife, you know, she was a stay-at-home mom for a while, so like they connected more with her and her culture.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
right.
she grew up in Costa Rica, so like
okay.
she's for real about that.
Yeah, yeah.
So like it was cool to kind of see them get the other half of that story that admittedly I might not always be able to explain fully. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it was just dope, man. Like I got to capture some cool like moments of like I started tearing up a bit because like I got a video of my mom doing my daughter's hair.
Oh,
you know, and
that's
I'm like,
cool, right?
Yeah, because I'm like, yo, I know I'm gonna play this at a wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so real.
So I was like, yo, this is, and like I captured it on like some old black magic camera that like it already looks nostalgic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I'm just bawling while recording the moment because I'm visualizing my like
what's gonna
60-year-old
happen.
self dancing with
That's
my
awesome.
daughter, you know? And I got cool pictures of like my dad and my son, like my dad like just pointing at land that like he owns, that like he's telling my son, yo, you own this, and my son's like, I don't understand what this is.
That's some Lion King
Right.
shit right
Yeah.
there.
That is
Everything
like-
the light touches
You know what I
is
mean?
our kingdom.
Straight up, he's just like, yo, you see these trees? And I can't tell apart any of the stuff either. But
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, this is yours right here. So it was just beautiful to kind of like get to like witness that like kind of passing of the baton
Yes.
Totally.
in person.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It was sincerely like a life reaffirming trip. Reminding me of like how small each of us are as people, just because how different everyone's experiences are, and yet by the same token, like the real value of being a good person. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what we're gonna achieve as like artists. I know we're trying to all do funny stuff, and I take pride in being funny, and I hope to be a great stand-up. But if I'm not, maybe like me telling a joke in a particular way might be what inspires the guy that is the greatest stand-up to like do a joke in a particular way. So then I was like, yo, what if like my dad's cousin was like, yo, I'm gonna stay in DR. You should go to New York. Like, what if that dude's whole mission like his purpose in life was to be a good neighbor so that like my dad could come here so that I could like freak out my dad and say, yo, I'm gonna quit corporate America and go tell jokes so that the greatest stand-up could like hear us on a pod and be like, oh, I like that idea. Like that was all like that's like, and so yeah, all of those thoughts were connecting with me.
Damn, you weren't even on shrooms or anything.
I know.
That's just sober shit. Just like,
so yeah, I've gone through a lot of emo stuff with that. You know what I mean? And then I was explaining this all on my stoop to like the homies. They're like, yo, G, you changed, you know? It's been a wild week, you know? But yeah, it was all stuff that brought me genuine joy as like a family member, as an artist, as a dad. I did that this week, you know what I mean?
That's crazy.
Amazing.
That's I hear you. That's like the way that our, you know, society, our families like replicate themselves. You know, the values, like, the chain goes back for forever, I think.
Yeah.
Unless and you're making the next link by connecting to the link before you and yourself, and then the one after. And, you know, if you're lucky, the one before your parents or before your grandparents, right? Like there's the link that far. But is there, I always wonder, you know, and this is for you too, Jenny, like, what is the dynamic of being from America when you go back to DR? Mm-hmm. Because like for Vietnamese people, as you know, there's the sympathizers on right now, and all of our, like, I'm in this it's my parents and me, we're in this crazy ass time in the history of the Vietnamese, you know, country, where there was this really traumatic event and a bunch of us came over here, you know, and you know, there is, I don't want to say tension, but there's like, it's complicated when you go back because you're like, yes, we're here, but we're not, you know, politically, socially, language wise. And so, you know, I hear different things from different people. So when you go back, you're like, I'm home, but I'm also not home.
Right.
And, you know, talking to different Vietnamese people there, you know, people who were stayed there, you know, they have a certain view of the you know, the overseas Vietnamese, like as the phrase is, which is, I think, complicated. Like sometimes it's like, oh, y'all come back now, and sometimes it's like, okay, we're welcome back, you know, when we need your money, you know, that kind of thing. So it's very mind-boggling when you kind of just take a step back and think about, as a moment in history. I mean, all the history is like every generation goes through their struggle, but like this one is like a really crazy one, you know? So, what is that like going back, you know, back home? And is there that kind of same dynamic of like, you guys left, you know, and welcome back or not, you know, and same for you, Jenny, because you just came back too.
Mm-hmm. Mine's very different flavor than yours.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. What are you dealing with that?
I've been back to Japan quite a bit in the last couple of years. I feel like my story is always like a little bit like gray area because my dad is Japanese American. So it's not fully immigrant story, but then my mom is a full immigrant,
right,
and not citizen. So it's like really weird. It's like, so I like feel more Japanese than the typical like third, fourth generation Japanese American. But then I'm like way less Japanese than like kids who are like the first, second generation. Like their parents are the immigrants. Yep. I don't have, that's also different.
Yeah.
It's very weird. But I always do have the thought, and obviously my because of my history, it's not traumatic like that. It wasn't like a political move. It's like generations ago, my great grandpa moved here to Hawaii for like economic reasons.
Yeah.
Right? And then they kept marrying Japanese ladies. So yeah, I feel like my tie is always interesting. Like this trip specifically, I went back to Japan. I saw my whole family. I did a similar thing where I went back to I went back to the places I used to go to as a kid that I don't go to anymore. It's like my grandma's old apartment, or like I used to attend school over summer, like the public school.
Shit.
And so I went to go look at the school I attended. Stuff like that, where I was like, whoa, it's like I walked down memory lane. And I'm just like, every year that goes past, those memories are starting to feel like a TV show almost, like not really my life.
Yeah.
You know, it feels so far away that it doesn't feel real. And then I saw it and I was like, that's right, I went to school in Japan.
So you had like the little uniform and everything?
I bought the shoes. You know, like you take off your outside shoes and you change to your inside shoes.
Yeah.
And they're a very specific type of shoe.
Okay.
I had those. It was a public. We don't have like the uniform. It was public school.
Oh.
But then I didn't have the backpack. I was so jealous of all the kids. I always fell out of it. But yeah, so I did that, and then I went to San Francisco, and then I came back to New York. So I saw like every step of my life. Like I saw like the childhood in Japan, and then I saw like my home where we moved to when I was in middle school, and like that life. And then I like San Francisco was like my 20s, and then I came back.
Whoa.
Here, and I was like,
she did the Cliff Notes right there.
Yeah. In like this 3-week period, I like went through this journey of my life, like all this locations of my life. It's so weird. It's like so weird. I think about like all the parts of your identity, and I always think about this. I'm like, man, some like people who are just white people or other people, but like people whose lives are just in America. Like their whole history is just in America, don't have the same exact experience as this, which is like going to another country and being like, this is an aspect of me too.
Yes.
That they'll never understand.
Yeah.
Like this language, this culture, this random little town outside of Hiroshima, how much this like shaped my life. And like how I'm like shaped by like the people here and the language here and the culture here. And like the nuances of this being different than other parts of Japan. Like there's all these little parts and pieces that like build my identity. And it's like confusing because then you like when I'm in New York, there's a New York version of me, and then I go to Japan, there's like a Japanese version of me, and it's like they're all like slightly different, but I'm still me. I don't know. It's very like I just had that thought. I was like, wow, there's different versions of us that are shaped by all of these little pieces and all of these different histories. And also not just that, but like your independent family, like whatever the issues there.
Right. Then there's the whole family.
or blessings, issues, blessings, wonderful, horrible things. And so, yeah, I don't know what my point is, but I was like, I did have that thought. I was like, wow, in this 3-week period, I was like 4 different versions of myself, depending on where I was.
Yeah.
And they're
like,
all authentic. They're all fully you. Yeah.
And they're just me. But it's like when I'm here, this is a very specific version of myself when I'm here.
I hear that.
Yeah.
But the second I get back to San Francisco, depending on where in San Francisco, I'm a different version of myself. And then once you take me to Japan, it's like also a different version of myself. So it is very weird how we have these like multi-dimensional things. And then it's like, it's in relation to the culture that you're around and who you're around in that location. I don't know.
Yeah.
I vibe with that so much because like it's gonna start happening to you in about 10 years. But I'm growing up in the neighborhood I grew up in, and every now and then someone will see me who just knows me as G or as Gastor. And like my kids will be like, yo, hold up, you cool? I'm like, people just like you. And I'm like, yeah, like, I don't know if you're like, I was a person before you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and I was kind of like liked.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I'm not just this guy with rules at the house, you know what I mean? And like, and then even when that happens, like, when I see my friends, I'm the guy they met the whole time with them, and I'm a version of that, but a different version when I'm a parent.
Right.
You know, and so like every now and then when that happens, it kind of throws me off. I'm like, oh, like I'm reminded that like I kind of have to put on dad mode for them.
Yes.
But yeah, like I've discovered that moment a lot more recently, just because a lot of my friends are now like becoming parents. So like we'll hang out, and like when I see them innately, I'm like, "Yo, my man was good," and like it's just a way that I speak in a casualness that like my kids aren't used
like,
to.
What is this?
Right.
What's going on?
What's happening?
What happened? Where did you get that swagger from?
Yeah, you know,
you know,
straight up. So and like during the trip, I couldn't be dad the whole week.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like they saw moments of me just being myself. I think it connected us a bit. They got to see their grandparents do that a bit too, and especially because they were back home.
Yeah.
They like I know my dad is like a super tough, scary dude that on occasion makes jokes.
Yeah.
Whereas he's a softie to like my kids.
Oh my God.
Always.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I got to see the whole other extreme, like people that my dad will bust their chops, but people that'll do it back to my dad.
Right.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
And just seeing a whole room of people that were like, yo, your dad, he been a knucklehead. You know what I mean? Like, for real? So it was just exciting to kind of learn that with my kids.
Yeah.
And like, it was cool because like they would say something silly about my dad. I'd laugh, then I'd translate it into English to my kids.
Yeah.
So it was just like a whole like chain reaction of like 3 people needling my pops.
Right.
I love the opportunity to kind of share those things with the people you love, to like, this is a part of me too. I think it's important to like to give an opportunity to each of those parts of you, to give them their chance to like shine and be. I think they all matter. It reminds me a bit of like one of the privileges too of like that white people have that grow up here. Not anti-white, just like it is kind of dope that like you can trace back 300 years.
I always think about that. Yeah.
Like I don't know.
We traced you back, and you're like Thomas Jefferson's,
right?
Blah blah blah.
Dude, put me on that TV show where they chase my family. I'd love to, but
same.
I know it's gonna run out after my father.
Yeah, we got back to like 1985.
Real talk.
That's it. We
went back home. Everyone talked another language. They don't got books, so we just left it there.
The one guy had never seen a camera before.
You know what I mean? It was wild.
Yeah.
And because of that, I made it a point. My aunt is 73. She's the oldest of the women on my mom's side.
Yeah.
On the last day, I videotaped her. I did an interview of her. I was like, yo, straight up, I asked her a bunch of silly questions. She gave me like the origin story of all the nicknames for the aunts that like I've been saying it for years. And like until I got married and my wife pointed it out, because she's like natively Spanish. She's like, none of those are names, right? Like they're just all like tags that they all have for each other.
Yeah.
And you just add like tia to it. I didn't say aunt before, So I got to hear the origin stories of all those names. I found out she was married before.
Oh shit!
Wow.
Yeah, like backstory that like they wouldn't say normally.
Right.
And I only got it because I told her I was going to talk to her. I asked her like 10 minutes of questions. She was super direct. I'm not giving you anything, you FBI.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like I was like, I brought my mom over and I just let them talk.
I see.
And I was able to get like real vulnerable, beautiful family history.
Yeah.
And like she asked me, why am I doing this? And I was like, well, one of my uncles passed away last year, and we don't have those stories of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, yo, like, I just got on record from her saying so. The name of my great grandfather. Like I was like, I didn't know who their names.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like to like our earlier convo, like there's white folk that could trace back to like the Pinta and the Santa Maria and all of that, whatever the boats were. You know what I mean? So I was like, I just now got to this layer, and we would have lost it if I didn't document this moment. So
we're like the first generation. Well, not really. Yeah, in some ways, like where documentation technology is really, really cheap. I make more content per week than like probably the last 10 generations
straight up
combined.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I just found a stack of CDRs I still ain't used that I bought in like 2001.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? Excited to use that. Like,
yo, burn that shit.
Real
Make
talk.
some road
700 megabytes, but this, B.
700 megabytes. So, one last thing we talked about is you got some beef with me. You want to talk to me about some shit?
And then
let's
I'm
do
here
this
for the drama. I'm here for the drama.
Yo, real talk. You my dude. I want you to know.
I know.
I love you. I love hanging out with you.
Same.
I had a vision.
Yes.
Of me and you doing a project together.
I know. You used to send me projects all the time.
Real talk. I was like, yo, me and Mike, we got a natural chemistry.
We do.
We're gonna work on this food thing. He introduced me.
Okay.
I still think.
Really?
Straight up.
I still think about it sometimes about some of those things.
They taught me about Asian pears.
Yeah. I love that.
Straight
That's
up.
beautiful.
They mentioned it on the pod.
And you ate it with like a box.
I got a
cutter?
box cutter. Cut it in pieces. Ate that joint up. Incredible.
Yeah.
Life changing.
Life changing.
Real
So
talk.
good. So
I had to like like Asian pears ain't an East New York thing. I had to find that.
Yeah, you had to go out of your way.
Straight up.
Yeah.
I was reaching out to all my Asian. Yo, real talk. Where y'all at? You got a H Mart by you.
Plug. You got an H Mart plug. You got a plug.
and I had someone bring the Asian pear to my wife, who carried it through work, brought it to me. You know what I mean? I Venmo'd that lady money. Thank you, Gigi. I appreciate you. I ate the Asian pear and I was like, yo, this is the start of something.
Yeah.
Real talk. Me and Michael going to be discovering foods together. I was like, we can make this a show.
I had the show idea. The name would be called East Meets East New York.
Brilliant. You know what I mean?
Beautiful.
I created a Google Doc.
Yeah. You did create
Real
a Google
talk.
Doc. You shared it with me?
I shared it with him. I was looking up places that like, yo, this would be cool to take Mike to.
Yeah.
Yo, I never heard of this. And then he had me co-host one of the hack cities.
Oh, that was great. That was really fun.
Yeah.
And I got to hear firsthand. What was there was like a soup thing.
Oh, hot pot.
Hot pot.
Which you still haven't had?
I have not, because I was waiting for this first episode.
I know.
We were supposed to work on this show together. You know what I mean? And this is what really hurt, because hot pot came up like 4 times that month.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's true.
Other people, I was hanging out with my people. Yo, I got hot pot. I heard you talk about it. You want to try it? And I was like, nah, I can't. Me and my man Mike.
Yeah.
We reserving that for this show we doing.
Yes.
So I never got to experience this dish.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so what happened, Mike? What's your side of the story?
Mike keeps saying, yo, Gas, I'm sorry. I keep having kids. You know what I mean? I don't got time right now. I don't know if you know what it's like to be a parent. You know what I mean? It takes up a bit of your time. And I get it. But man.
I know.
And right when you get in the handle with the first kid, you're like, nah, G. I think you brought me here just to say, by the way, I got another kid on the way.
Yeah.
We're going to push this project back.
This project's going to have to be pushed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh man, I got to do this project. Got to get Gina pregnant.
Real talk. Every 2 years, new baby. I know. I know.
Well, that's really what I apologize, first of all.
It would be a good show, Mike.
It would be an amazing show. It would be a really good show. There's so many. This is sort of like the last thing I wanted to bring up, because you are a very hardworking person.
Appreciate you.
You do your thing. You're very funny. You know, you got talent, but like more importantly, you keep an eye on the ball, and you're very like grounded about doing it. You're very, I think, healthy about it. But it's like, you know, and Patrick will talk to you about this on We Hired a Sitter for This. It's the kind of the whole premise of that podcast is like it's hard to get away from your kids and duties in order to do creative stuff.
Yeah.
But I have so many things like that. I have all sorts of like, if I had a year where my full-time job was just, I didn't have to work, and I could just do all these other things, I think I could do all sorts of shit. I would make jujitsu videos. I would have videos about how to look cool as a dad. I would have this East meets East New York thing.
Yeah.
But I felt so guilty even as I packed my bag today to leave. I straight up just like, you know, we're in the middle of lunch with my son. You know, I'm saying he's 2, he's upset, and I'm like, I have to go now. For 5 hours.
Right.
And while this is professional,
yes,
it sounds silly as hell to anybody else. Like, I gotta leave you. I got this important radio show.
I have to look her in the eye. I have to look her in the eye and say, I have to do my podcast now. You know how stupid I sound and feel saying that to my grown wife who is pregnant
Better
and
or worse,
has
baby.
has a kid already.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if you have anything, you know, about staying creative, staying motivated. I mean, you know I'll need to throttle some things off. You know, I still feel like I want to do stuff, shows or whatever, you know, these kinds of projects. But, you know, I just like the pie, you know, the slice of the pie. I have a tiny slice. You know, sometimes I've talked about this. Sometimes I wish there was, you know, just like things people could do at like 11 p.m. because that's when I'm free.
I'm down too. Hit me up.
I have 11 to 12 midnight.
Done.
Where I could do something.
Let's go to
all the hot pot
spots that's open from 11 to 12. Real talk.
We could probably do it.
Nah, like, I'll tell you this. Like, I agree and I fully empathize. I'm teasing, by the way. Like, I love to work with you, but I know, I get it. What I've found is that, like, I have certain things, like, so we did this journey to DR. I saw literal farmland that both of my sides of my family own. My parents have been relatively successful immigrants. They own property in New York. And, like, I watched these people, like, build things, and I have a genuine concern that, like, I'm not leaving something behind tangible to my kids.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that haunts me. So like, the reason I spent a decade of my life now, full time, the last 6, trying to learn to be funny. And I feel like I'm good at it now. And now I want to use that to make things that, like, when I pass away, my kids could point to and say, like, yo, dad made this beautiful piece of art that speaks to people, that brought joy. So that's why I'm trying to, like, create right now. I feel like I've honed this skill. I did my samurai era, you know what I mean? Like, I'm ready, you know what I mean? And, like, now I'm like sensei status. Let's go, like, show people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I accept that that's going to cost me time with my family. So when I do something, I only do stuff that I think is going to be dope.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
If you're going to cost me time from my family, I can only do honor to them by doing the best work I could do. And in turn, I accept that when I'm doing something, I have to do it to the max because I can't do all the things. And then the inverse. When I'm with family, you ain't gonna talk to me. Like I just spent the week in DR. I think I made 3 posts. Real talk. Like my phone. As soon as I got the DR, oh, you got 3G? I don't even need internet out here, my G. You know. And I just spent like a full week being fully immersed, being a family man. So like you can't have me all the time everywhere. But you're gonna get 100% of me when I'm here. You know what I mean? I can't half-ass being up. Like I hate when I go to like someone's crib and like, you know, I won't diss my friend or something, but I'll call them out after like, yo, my man, I was here 6 hours and I watched you on your phone while your kid was like trying to get your attention. I get you in terms of work, but like you got like an hour of like giving him your A game. The rest of the time, I get it. Disappear because you got to do responsibilities.
Right.
But when he needs you, be there. So I try to live by that. Like when I'm with my kids, they get all of me in turn so that when I have to go do a pod, this gets all of me.
Right.
And when they see these things, they'll see, oh, dad was really about whatever he was doing. So yeah, that's what I would tell you. Like it is what it is. You have to accept that you can't check every box all the time. But the one you choose to do, like it should get your all. You know what I mean?
Can we get another hug going here?
Hey, man, we can do these, B. Real talk.
Real talk.
This is
I'll come
so
over just
sweet.
for hugs, man.
Wow.
Real talk. And sincerely, man, so happy for you, bro.
Thank you.
That was not on camera, but I can vouch it did happen.
It did
Amen.
happen.
Amen.
It happened.
We out here, baby.
But now I have beef with Mike.
Uh-oh.
Because I can't believe you have been withholding him from experiencing hot pot.
I
And
know.
now I'm pissed.
Thank you.
Just like logistically speaking, how would we could fuck.
All I'm saying, like, sincerely, we should just do a season is all I'm saying. It can't be an ongoing thing. You have an ongoing pod. It takes up your time. You have an ongoing kid. I get it. You're going to have 2 of them. That's dope. You know what I mean? But, like, I do think we could do, like, a season of, like, 4 episodes once every 2 years.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Super, like, low stakes. But it's something that we could do that's fun. It'll show our energy, and we'll get the like, at the very least, it's just a chance to hang.
Yeah.
Real
That's
talk.
true.
Do a bang bang. Just do it in one day.
Just eating hot pot.
Or just go to
We're
different
just
places.
trying different foods.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. We can just try a whole bunch of different foods.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Get to know a little bit of each other's culture.
So if episode 1 is hot pot, what's
Well,
the
we
next
heard
one?
we heard earlier you've never had mango.
What is that?
It's a Dominican breakfast. It's like mashed plantain.
Oh, Jesus!
Straight up, it's incredible. You know what I mean? They put they put onions on it. They have a version of it in particular called Tres Golpes. It's the 3 hits. So it's the mashed plantain with a side of fried egg, cheese, and salami.
Wow.
Fantastic. You know what I mean?
I
Real talk.
didn't know I could get hungry listening to Spanish. Just like you saying the word in Spanish.
Yeah.
Let's
I'm hungry
go.
now.
I'm telling you. You know what I mean? And we just touching it. I'm telling you. Once the word gets out, we doing this, people gonna send us foods to try.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
true.
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
Just put it out there.
just put it out there. Yeah, put it
We're
out
gonna
there.
try. I mean, I'll talk about it more later. But like, there's so many times where, you know, I look at my, you know, my other friends who they did other things, right? They stayed in California, or they you know live in a suburb somewhere. They own property.
Sure.
And I'm like, what's the thing I have? I have to think that I am the cool one
For
I hung out here.
Amen.
And I always think like, as much as New York makes me so mad, like there's so many good things about it.
Totally.
And me and my wife, we're gonna try to hang on as much as we can.
Yeah.
We'd be fucking bunk beds.
Yeah.
Like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm talking for me and my wife. Okay? Me and my wife at the bunk beds. We're going to try to hang out here because this is the place where you can like do stuff like that.
Totally.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, like my daughter, I just took her to like she's into painting and like photography. I took her to a bunch of art exhibits in Bushwick.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like
that's so cool.
Yeah, like you move to another spot, like they have one museum.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
know.
Stuff like that. Like it's a centric New York thing to the culture that we get to like enjoy every day.
Yeah,
and like your friends that left. Props to them. They're doing what
they're doing
they
great.
need,
Trust
and
me.
they're doing great. But I promise you, like once a month when they having a rough day, they're like, man, I wish I was like Mike.
Yeah.
Real talk. And I say that because I've had weird drunk moments with friends at parties that they'll come up to me. They're like, yo, G, man, I just admire you. I wish I could do it. You know what I mean? I like real talk. I wish I had a 401k. You know what I mean? We both got stuff that the other ones. You know what I mean?
Yes. Grass is always greener.
Amen.
Yeah.
I think that would be another. God, that's another show. I could teach you about 401ks.
Let's do it.
You know, I'm sure you know about them. Like, I mean, just the vision of somebody like dressed like me walking around in Cypress Hills is just like, I just think it's already funny.
I'm excited.
It's just a funny idea already, you know. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
It's
I had a
amazing.
blast.
It was
Real
amazing.
talk.
Where can our fans find you and your work?
Yeah. You can find me on all social medias at Gastor Almonte, GastorAlmonte. And you can check out my 2 shows. I got a show with the homie Patrick Holbert. We hired a sitter for this, where like you get to hear me bestow an occasional bit of wisdom to the homie Patrick as he learns to parent, and I continue to go through parenting. Mm-hmm. And then you get to see the inverse, where I learned a lot from the homie Shalewa Shaw on the War Report.
Yes.
You know what I mean? She gets to bestow knowledge of life on me all the time, and like I'll do both of those shows forever if they let me.
Amazing. You can find us on Instagram at Nice Pants. I'm sorry, at Asian on Asian Pod. I'm on there, Nice Pants Bro.
I'm at Jenny Arimoto.
Come check out our stand-up show, Hack City, second Friday of every month. Next one's on Flag Day. Learn about flags.
Boom.
It'll be great. Thank you again, Gastor.
Appreciate you.
All right, until then, we love you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Peace.